We're just waiting for Lenore, who's running late, or for Mr. Dockett to join us to start our meeting, so I'll let everybody in the audience know. We're just waiting, Mary. So, okay.
So did the items from the special meeting go to the next meeting?
We'll have to hold those at another time for the closed session.
And how do I know? Because last time we had, it was concerning 7725 Shade Beach, it was on the agenda, so I knew the meeting about that.
Right.
This agenda had nothing, it just says announcements. But I knew it was happening because it was at the last meeting.
Okay. As soon as we can get the session done, we'll let you know the results. So.
We can even do that.
So I say we could just add it to the agenda if you like.
At the
But-
end, yeah.
You do need 5
Oh, we do need 5.
to go into closed session.
I think I did. I think I did, yeah. Or I read it somewhere. I think I read it somewhere. Okay. Okay. Right, now is it something, we need to discuss that and find out if there's options that we need to find some kind of resolution. Well, let's see if we can do that. Is what? Well, because it's different than it used to be. The form of payment is different, which is, because it used to be the one way. How was he paid on the last time? A check. On a check.
You can ask me.
On a check. And that cost money? I don't know that I did. I'm not sure that I did. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of times there's,
I'm hearing none of this, which everybody's not on.
yeah, a lot of times there's exceptions made, and maybe there can be some exception made. If somebody perhaps is adamant about something, it's not gonna be like you have a rash of that. It's not. Yes, yeah. Well, Yes, and that's fine. That's fine, yeah. Okay. Okay.
So what's the verdict?
That, I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up to a vote that we find a,
Okay.
yeah.
Jackie? Did you want to start?
Well, now we're gonna see how a meeting is supposed to be run. We'll probably be out of here in 2 hours
Or less.
or less.
That's got to do with the agenda, not the person doing it.
Oh, yes, it does.
All right.
So I gotta
It
put
has,
this on.
it has everything to do with the person.
Okay, this on.
Is it on?
I
Can you
can
hear
hear you.
us?
Good.
Okay.
Hello, I'd like to call the May 23rd Northfield Township Board meeting to order. You okay, Mary? Okay. In Marlene's absence, I would like to make a motion to appoint a chair for this meeting.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Jackie Otto chair for this meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
All right, Jackie, it's all you.
Okay, could we have call to order?
You just did that.
I meant, we'll have the invocation and pledge. Let's do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The invocation. Thank you, Lord, for all that you provide for us in our community. As we vote on issues and make and have discussions, let us not take light of what you provided to us. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right. Roll call. Bellinger,
Here.
Docket,
Here.
Otto,
Here.
Manley here. Chalkley and Chick are absent with notice, and Lenore is on her way.
Okay. Adoption of the agenda. I just have a couple of things that I want to update. Number one, which is the our wastewater treatment plant request to purchase a new air conditioning unit. That's going to be taken off the agenda. And we need to, did you want something added onto the agenda?
Can I please add onto the agenda that we find a resolution for the payment, let's say a salary payment for trustee Wayne Dockett.
Okay.
I would like to add something.
Yes, Mr. Ackett?
At the last meeting, when we closed it up, I asked if we could talk about the heat and air in this building. And when that was on a Wednesday because we were here for the interviews. And on Thursday, when I got the agenda, it wasn't on there. So I came and seen Marlene. And I want to read what she said, if you got a minute there. It says here, I forgot to add on the agenda Mr. Dockett's request to discuss the heating and cooling of this building. There was no documentation included, and it was only less than a day's notice. And Chief Wagner will not be in attendance. So this is not a really good meeting to bring up at this time. Well, that's her opinion. And then it goes on to say that this is not a good meeting to bring it up. unless the goal is to make the township look inept. That's what she wrote. I say this is not my goal, but it might look like that after 15 years of having this building and not doing something about this. And I think we need a capital improvement deal, and I want to put it on the agenda.
Okay, where would you want it? Would you
Well,
want it
I
under the
just,
agenda?
I just want to get the general feeling from other members.
So we can put it as a discussion item?
Yeah,
Okay.
under 3 would be good for me. If nobody's interested, then, but I'd like to find out if anyone's interested in looking at it. I think we waste, some resources here, and it's been a long time. I think it says 2002 on the front of the building, and it's not our fault. I mean, it is in a way. We've been on the board, but nobody's ever looked at it. Thank you.
Okay, so Lisa, we'll put on number 3, the public
you.
safety building, air condition,
Heating and cooling.
Yeah,
heating and cooling.
yeah, mechanicals, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, welcome, Lenore. I need a motion is that all the additions that we have and deletions? Okay. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Have a motion to adopt the balance of the agenda?
I support.
Okay, we have Kathy made the motion, Ton supported. Any more discussion?
Yeah, was there any reason given about the wastewater treatment plant?
I was told, if I'm going to make this, if I'm correct, is that they no longer have the unit that they were looking at, and so they have to research to get another
The
unit.
company don't sell it, I mean, or what? Who
It's
don't
not
have-
available.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, we adopt the balance of the agenda. We now have call to the public. Those who want to come and speak to the board, they can. Please list your name and your address. Should I give a report? You can.
My name's Andy Lakatos at 9249 Lakewood Drive, and I'm presently doing a funding campaign for the $6,500 shortfall on our 2 easements, right? Okay. And to date, I don't know. I was going to stop by, but do you have any kind of tally on what's been received over here at the office? Okay, we'll have to get that. But as it stands right now, there's $951 been collected through the GoFundMe account, and I have $500 of my own campaign, and I've pledged that, assuming we would get the $6,500, that every $1,000 that was collected, I would add $100 to that, with a potential of $600 from me. So I say that when it's fully collected, so I'm hoping that that's what happens. If it isn't, then as I said before, even though it's not allowed to take a note or to take a handshake or to do a canceled check or post-dated check, that I will cover the $6,500 one way or the other. And I've said that now in public. It's on the film. Okay, so that's even better yet. So that's where we stand at this moment in time. So we're close to 2,000, because I know there's a couple that were pledged from the board here, and so I think we're in the neighborhood of $2,000, or a little bit over $2,000. So that's in less than a week. I did have, as a matter of fact, one of the contractors, or Brandon, from the company that's doing the job, called me because of my sprinkler system. But then I did ask him when he was going to be bringing the equipment back to continue the path, and he said that would be June 5th. So my 2 weeks out looks pretty good. And then I talked with Brian from Tetra Tech, and he's just waiting for those pieces of paper or whatever, however they get sent to him, so that he can then tell the contractor to go hit the properties and start running with it, okay? And I told them that if anything changed, to please contact me so that we don't have a delay in this program, so that it doesn't cost the township any more money than what the original program was, and he promised that he would. And so that's basically my report, and I'm continuing on. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Do we have anyone else? Okay. We have board member clarifications or comments? All right, we will move on to correspondence and announcements if anyone has them. All right. Let's move on to our next agenda item. We have the DDA request for a contribution of half of the cost of the asphalt and striping of 75 Barker parking lot. Yeah, Ton.
I have information to add to this, because I contacted Barb with a few questions. She said that she reached out to 10 companies that she called. 3 had returned the call. This is regarding the parking lot, the asphalt companies. 1 actually showed up, and it turns out that this one that actually showed up to give an estimate was the same company that was highly recommended by other people. She says it comes with a 2-year warranty. She also hired him for another project, and they'll get the lines striped onto the parking lot free of charge. I asked her about the spaces. Evidently there's an expert that comes around and calculates how many spaces you can have, and it's related to some kind of codes that have to be met for the township and elsewhere, I guess. They were going to do this last year, but it got postponed for one reason or another. So that's about all I have on that, because I did ask a few questions, and that's it.
Okay, Mr. Dockett.
I would like to make sure that the board, which I think they probably have, looked this over pretty close, and I wanted to know who decided what would be done there. Was it be the DDA, you think?
Well, that is two of my questions that I had, is who decided that the work actually needed to be done, and two, who decided that the DDA was going to do it?
Well, the work needs to be done, but, or in my opinion, but the new asphalt is only 32 feet by 44 feet. So this is a tiny portion of what's there. So the only thing we're going to do is paint the rest of it. But the only repair, according to what I seen, I added it up. And it's 32 feet by 44. And that's where the big hole is in the front of the driveway. So I didn't want us to think that
It was the whole thing that was being done.
I want everybody to understand that it's a very tiny repair in compared to the lot size.
Okay.
Did you think
Tom?
that?
Yeah, Mr. Dockett's correct. I did ask her about that as well, and she mentioned that cost was the reason that they didn't redo the entire thing. It was apparently exorbitant to redo the entire parking lot. So it was cost was the reason that they do just these sections here, repair sections. And as he indicated, it would be then just like painted over, cleaned and painted over after they got them with the actually patch cuts and replacement.
So that might be fine, but I just want everybody to realize that it's
Yeah.
small. And to finish up, $22,069 is there because this board, at least Jackie and Janet and I voted to have them put their rent in a fund. I think it was, maybe a year ago or something, Jackie.
It was about a year ago.
So that's why that money's there, and I'm glad we did that. So that's it.
So the one thing that I had concern for is two things. Number one, the township is the one that owns 75 Barker and not DDA. And so why is the contract going through the DDA and not through the township? I think that if it went through the township and the DDA wanted to contribute to it, and then we paid it, that's a different story.
Well, she gave $25,000 to the township for the park, so she doesn't own that either.
Yeah.
So you're saying we should kind of do it the opposite?
Yeah, it
We
should
present the
be-
contract and get the money from the DDA.
Right. Brad, did you want to interject?
We haven't been involved in this to this point,
Yeah.
but certainly, if the township's the owner of the property, certainly the township should be having a say in how it works as opposed to the DDA.
Well, if we're gonna pay, if they were paying all of it, maybe not, but, I mean, if they put out flowers, or they do something like that, we don't question it. So, but, I don't know, maybe we should ask.
Well, we don't own the flowers or the flower pots that they put out there. They purchased those.
Oh, that's, okay.
Yeah, they purchased those flower pots,
Okay.
but this is being the township property. I do understand that they're doing this to enhance the downtown, but the one thing I don't understand is why didn't it come through the township first?
I think that you're probably correct, and it should follow a formula, and it
Yeah.
should indeed probably go through the
Because I don't
township,
think we
as you
ever
suggest.
granted the
Them that
DDA
authority.
control over 75 Barker. I know it was discussed at one time, but I don't think we ever did that.
I think you got a valid point there, and we probably should, as you mentioned, bring it to the township and follow the consistency that way.
I would like to mention the DNH is very good. I mean, we've
Yeah.
they've done a lot of work, and they usually stand behind their stuff. So if somebody's gonna do it, I'd rather see DNH as anyone. Thank you.
Yeah, I do agree that D&H is a good asphalt company. I do agree with that. And I don't have a problem with them doing the work. It's just that I want to make sure that it's appropriated the right way. And if we're going to have an agreement with D&H, then it's the township, and then if the DDA wants to give the township money,
Well, she
or
did,
pay for portion of it.
now that I'm thinking about it, she mentioned she's hiring them for another project or two, like a personal project. And so thinking that there might be a little bit of a discount, that she's getting like the line striping for
Okay.
free, because it is also, I think, some other projects, she also has them hired for more than one. If I understand that correctly, she told me that today on the phone. So
So
that,
we do it pending them billing us directly, not Barb? Or
Right.
not the,
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, so certainly, I think if the board's inclined to do this, I think our office could work with the DDA to make sure that the contracts are drafted appropriately and going to the right entity.
Okay.
Because also, we want to make sure that, whatever insurances there are come to the township, because we're the property owner as opposed to the DDA. So I think we just want to make sure the insurances are appropriate and things of that nature.
Okay. So we do need to make a motion on this, but I think with the motion needs to be, so I'll go ahead and make the motion. I think I'll make the motion that we approve D&H Asphalt Company doing the patch work and striping on 75 Barker, but we need to have our attorney work with the DDA to determine who gets billed for it and how it's going to be reimbursed. So the difference between the two is the township would be up for the $2,269. Does that make sense, Lisa?
So it's the VHSL company, Board approves the VHSL company doing the patchwork and striping, a 75 bar for subject to the township attorney, working with the DDA to determine who will be billed. And what was the
Directly, and the township will pay at the rate of $2,269.
They don't really have it on here, but they're talking about the seal coat too, the whole thing.
That's on the estimate.
That's on the
Oh,
estimate.
okay, I'm looking at this. And-
Yeah,
Okay.
so I need a second on that.
Maybe you
I'll
should add
support.
the seal coat.
Okay.
That's per estimate. Yeah.
So I made the motion.
I support.
Otto and Ton seconded it.
Yes.
Do we have further discussion?
Yes, I think you should put seal coat on there.
Okay, let's amend it to include seal coat
And striping.
and striping. So it's asphalt replacement, seal coat, and striping for 75 Barker parking lot. Yeah,
Says it on the estimate.
yeah,
Sorry, it says it on the estimate.
yeah.
Right, it says one application of eco-friendly seal coat and stripe.
Right,
Okay.
So it should say that in the motion too.
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Got it.
That's what he was asking me to add.
Thanks.
Okay. If we don't have any further discussion, let's, all those in favor say aye.
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 Are those opposed? Okay. We have a motion for Lee Malbech to request for continued use of the farmland on 2727 North Territorial, and this is at the fire station. I know that we've had this done in the past. The question I had is, do we ever have a lease contract for this? Is there a, I don't recall that we've ever had a contract with this person.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
They're not asking for that, are they? Or wait,
No,
wait.
I'm just asking, did we ever have a lease contract with this person?
It's nice to have him out there because he plows the weeds, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He grows crops there, so he keeps it cleaned up. We don't make much,
Oh,
$1,000.
so we bill him for it?
No, he pays us
Oh, he pays us? Okay.
$1,000
Okay.
to grow crops there. And I would like to make sure that $1,000 goes into a fund and they need some painting or they need snow removal or, I mean, I'd like to see that money stay out there into that building like we did on 75 Barker, even though it's only $1,000, but there's also, we're getting around $1,100 or $1,200 a month for that tower. That money should also be kept out there for that building, in my opinion. I'm wondering if somebody could look into that.
That building does need some maintenance, repair, and cleanup. I have a question on this. I'm curious this policy has a date up here from 9/2016. I don't understand why that would be like,
That's the start date.
That's the start date to the end date, so it doesn't renew until 9/21 of 2017.
okay.
It just
2 more
runs through.
months, 3 more months.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Lenore, could you look into that for
To s-
us?
to
Where
see.
like the cell tower money goes? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay. Do we necessarily need to have a lease with him?
Because it's an interest in land, there should be a written lease, and it's possible that there may be, we just don't have it in the packet.
Okay.
But I think that the board should be approving a lease, and I think Mr. Dockett's correct. There should be consideration, whether it's $1,000 or whatever it is.
Okay,
And the lease should really be approved by the board as opposed to just sort of, approving the use as farmland.
But they've been doing it for, ever since I've been on the board. So you're probably right, they probably had a lease.
Yeah, it's entirely possible there may be a lease out there that's just sort of getting rolled over every year, but the board should be signing off on it.
okay. So I'll make the motion to accept the farming of the land at 2727 East North Territorial Road for the 2017 crop year by Lee Malbach, contingent upon either drafting up a new agricultural property lease or the renewing of a current one.
And are we putting in the dollar amount?
For the amount of $1,000.
Well, I don't see it on here, but that's,
Yeah, okay.
as
We're
far-
counting on your memory, Mr.
Yeah, we're
Dockett.
counting on your
We're
memory.
taking your word.
They usually pay us $1,000 a year, but I don't see it in the paperwork this year.
I'll support.
Okay, Otto motioned, Ton supported.
Oh, no.
Any more? Ton? Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. So the resignation, we have the resignation for front desk, and this has to do with Tabitha Eisenberg. I did see that Jennifer had put out advertising on Facebook through Northfield News, and I don't know if she's advertised it anywhere else.
Yes, it's been advertised on Indeed, and we have a stack full of resumes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how many, but quite a few, and they're being sorted. And Ms. Carlisle will be contacting some of the people just to see and determine, and interviews will be set up hopefully shortly. And we would like to have our deputy treasurer as well as the building department participate in the interviews as they work closely with the front desk. I know the deputy clerk does as well, but more so I think the building department. We're about 30% the treasurer department of the front desk,
Yeah.
the building department, so we'd like to set up interviews. Hopefully shortly. I mean, we do have a lot of resumes. We'll see. We'll go vetting the applications.
Okay. I think that would be a good idea. So I'll make the motion to accept the resignation of Tabitha Eisenberg as receptionist or front desk clerk for the township.
I'll second.
Otto motion, Zelenak second.
Any discussion?
Any discussion?
What are we doing?
We're accepting the resignation
Yeah,
for Tabitha
With regret.
with regret. Yes.
So just discussion as we, interviews have come in. Ms. Carlisle is going through them. She's going to call some candidates that she thinks will fit based on the qualifications, and then we'll be setting up interviews. And again, we hope to do that shortly.
Okay. And I'd like to thank Tabitha for all her time that she spent with us. She was an asset to the township during her employment.
I have a comment, not on Tabitha, but again, thank you for your service. Hopefully in the future, the next couple meetings, we can add on to discuss the staffing issues, because I've talked to the staff, and I think we might need an additional person besides this part-timer.
Okay.
So just if you all want to start thinking about that since the budget's coming up. And I don't know if anybody else has talked to the staff and what their thoughts are and what we need, so.
Okay.
Kind of goes along with Tabitha, and if we have some good candidates, maybe
Right.
we can keep them in our back pocket.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Dawn?
just, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say that, yeah, Tabitha was wonderful. We're going to definitely miss her, and miss her smiling face and her helpfulness.
And there has been discussion with the staff, and they indicated they thought that a work arrangement from 10 to 4:30 every day, that's what they would prefer, so that's how it was been advertised, as opposed to working 8 hours a day and taking a day off. So we'll see how the applicants feel about that, as well as we'll see how it works in the office.
Okay. All right. Any more discussion?
I know nothing about the office, so I'll leave that up to the people who work in there. Thank you.
You should come down and join us every now and then. I mean, I think if you do have the opportunity, it would be good. I know Ton's been there in and out as well. You will see how hard everybody really does work. Not that you don't think that, but they do. And then you have certainly peak times with sewer bills and taxes, which are coming soon. And the building department is getting really busy. So
Right.
there's a lot going on. I'm very fortunate to have the people that we have.
So, any more discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. So the next thing on the agenda is the township manager's job description. This was brought to our attention probably about a month ago, where the personnel committee went through all the drafting of the responsibilities, identified which ones should be kept, which ones should be removed or revised. And this was based on the recommendation from Paul Burns at the time to tell us that we needed better clarification on some of the responsibilities. So we went ahead and did that, and then we gave the job description to our labor attorney to review. She had made changes to it. You can see the ones that are underlined or crossed out are the changes that were made. So on this, I'd like to make a motion to accept the township manager job description as amended. Did you have a question, Mr. Dockett?
Yes, I do. Maybe I'm really out of line here, but we're going to have a manager before long, I hope. If we do accept it, I'd like to accept it with, it could be reworked in, 3 months or
Okay.
90 days or something like that, because a new manager might have some different ideas.
Okay, we can amend the motion, since it hasn't been approved yet, or second, that we accept the drafting of the township manager's job description with amendment, with the understanding that we will review it in 3 months after the township manager has been hired. Is that okay?
I like that.
For further revisions? Okay.
It does say on there too, which I think kind of the broad statement, perform other duties as assigned by the township board, so I think that covers everything.
Yeah.
So.
If we're having our discussion now, I noticed that I don't see, I think I recall at the last meeting that we said implement the master plan, and I don't see that on here.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it either.
Yeah, I thought it was added at the end, and I don't see it. So I'd like to, again, I'd like to have that added.
Okay.
And then, again, since we seem to be revisiting it, if we go to the first page, going from the bottom, the second bullet point, and I know the attorneys reviewed it, but it says ensure the implementation and enforcement of all laws. I'm not sure. I was wondering if that would be, I mean, you know, like the police department has certainly laws to enforce, so it just seemed a little broad to me that it would be all laws, but with our police department. Yeah, anyway, it was just,
Well, I would think that it would cover township laws, it would cover HR laws, it would cover, I think if you discount any of the laws out, you're going to miss one.
Yeah, I think that Trustee Ballinger made a good point, which is that this is laws, township ordinances, policies, and directives collectively related to public service administration operations. So it's just those laws, ordinances, et cetera, that relate to administration.
Right, and so I was wondering if we should add that or take out all laws? I mean, that was all. It just seemed to be very broad, with especially us having a police department, that I don't think they would have jurisdiction over that. I think that's a different jurisdiction. That was all.
We can change all to township administration laws.
And actually, I think this was, I recall, someone in the public brought it up to my attention, so it's not just my thought. And again, since it's coming before us again.
I'm trying to see where the best place to fit the master plan,
I was just thinking,
because I don't see projects in here.
yeah, we have like,
It says initiative, the third one from the bottom,
Okay.
initiative works and related projects is assigned by the township board.
is that the first page?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can put manages township initiatives such as the master plan,
Including the master plan.
including the master plan.
Yes, I like including.
Okay.
I like including.
Comma, okay.
Trustee Otto, if I may?
Yes.
I think that on the other item that you were discussing, if you made it ensures the implementation and enforcement of those laws, it makes it clear that it goes with the phrase at the end. So
Okay.
it would be of those laws, township ordinances, policies, and directives, and then say that are related to. So it's clear that it's all one thought, and it's
Okay.
not saying all laws in the entire world. It's just those that are related to public administration.
Okay, so I will change that, and Lisa, I will give you the changes. Okay, so the first, so I'll amend the motion again, to state that we will, the motion is to accept the draft of the township manager's job description as amended. And I think that's it.
I support.
Okay, we have,
Yes.
yeah, with the understanding it will be reviewed in 3 months, yes. Yes. So Otto moved, Ton motioned. Do I have any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. For number 6, we have the selection of township manager candidates to bring back for a second interview. Mr. Dockett, I didn't see that you submitted anything. Did you have a preference that you wanted to include at this time?
Well, I only see 3. Are there more?
There were 5 listed here. Is there, out of the 5, were there candidates that you wanted to bring back for a second interview?
No, they, as far as I don't know, are you gonna pick 3? Are you gonna pick 3 of these?
I was going to talk to the board to see what they wanted to do. I
Well,
think 3
that's-
would be
I
a good
think-
number.
We should get your opinion first and then see how those numbers correlate.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there should be less than 3, that's for sure. 'Cause
Well, who
by
you-
the time we get them in, what time they come in, we might lose another one. So we don't want to cut it down below
Okay.
3.
So who gets
So
your vote?
who did you want to pick?
I picked the same ones that everybody else did. I picked Ayers, whatever it is, and Leanne, and Matthews.
Okay.
I picked them on my big sheet. I don't have that with me, but that's the one that we had in the first place.
So we should go ahead and line
Right.
up, we perhaps would line up the interviews for 3?
Yeah, and we told everybody that we had May 30th.
Okay, Yes.
Do you guys want to start at 6 since we're going to do 3?
yes,
Right.
6 is
And
good.
What day is that?
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Or 6:30?
6:30, whatever works.
6:30 would be better.
Okay. So people can be here? Starting at 6:30? Okay.
5 o'clock is challenging getting out of Lansing.
So we'll have
So-
Jennifer get those scheduled.
May 30th at 6:30.
Yep.
Thanks.
And you're doing 3.
Yeah.
And we'll do 3. Do we need a motion on that?
What 3? The 3 I mentioned? or-
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do we need a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we hold interviews on Tuesday, May 30th, starting at 6:30 PM for the 3 candidates for the position of manager. Do you need the names of the 3 candidates?
Yes, please.
For candidate Stephen Ains, candidate Leanne Clare, and candidate Matthew Miller.
Do I have a second? I will second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, should we just offer it to Steve since he had 7 out of 7?
What was that, Lenore?
I said, should we just offer it to Steve since he had 7 out of 7 votes?
I think we should have a second interview.
Yeah, I do too. I think sometimes on your first interview, you really show, you put forward your best game. If you're really good, you do it in your second interview. Sometimes people fall back on their, get complacent on their second interview and you see things come out.
Mhm.
So I think 2 interviews would be,
I agree. I feel strongly on that.
all right. Any more discussion?
So we're seeing 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All those in favor say...
Ms. Manley, would you please call a roll call vote?
Okay.
Bellinger?
Yes.
Dockett?
Yes.
Zelenak?
No.
Chick? Oh, sorry. Otto?
Yes.
Manley? No. Shorten up your sheets.
Okay, on number 7, we have the resolution 17563, the investment policy amendment, and I will turn this over to
Yes, I'd
Lenore.
like to make a motion that we approve the resolution number 17-563, a resolution of the Northfield Township Board of Trustees establishing a policy on township investment and depository designation. What we have added is the First National Bank of Omaha. This is an institution that the library board would like to invest in. I briefly had a conversation with our auditors, and they indicated that since we, and in particular that I'm in charge of the funds, that it should be added.
They indicated what?
That since I am in charge of the township funds, that it should be added. So therefore, I'm adding it, or would like to add it, making the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So is this simply just to add this other institution?
Yes, it is.
That's all this is at this point?
Yes.
And for the reason, of course, like you said, because the library is using them or something at this point?
That's correct.
Thanks.
Okay, so I have a motion by Lenore, second by Kathy. Any more discussion, Mr. Dockett?
Yeah, I didn't hear that, but I want to make sure we're not distributing any funds. You're not distributing? Okay.
She's just adding
at
it
this
as an
time. Yeah.
investment
Yes.
listing
Correct.
for the library.
And I would expect the library to ask us in a period of time to put some of their investment in there. And talking to their treasurer, Jack Seacrest, he had indicated that he might want to move $250,000 of their current funds, the library funds, in there because it's FDIC and they will get a 0.95% interest rate. So if they were to ask me, I would go forth and do it.
And you don't need the board?
That's correct. I wouldn't need your...
Huh?
That's correct.
What's correct?
I would not need the board to make that transfer. It's a depository, so that's correct.
But it's not. It's just a deposit. It's not a money market or anything.
That's my understanding in talking to Jack. And yes, that's correct.
No risk.
No risk.
Well, that's good.
I mean, FDIC, 250,000. So
Oh, okay.
that's what they plan to put
Yeah,
in
they
there. So,
insure. They insure up to 250,000.
Yeah. so I don't
Yeah.
think life is without risk. But it's the best we can't get much better than that.
Well, no, that's fine, but money markets are a different story. But I would like the roll call vote. I'm not going to vote for that.
Okay, so we do have Lenore made the motion, Kathy second. We do not have any more discussion, so let's have a roll call vote.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Dockett,
No.
Manley, yes. Otto,
Yes.
Zelenak,
Yes.
Okay. Number 8, we added this on to the agenda. It is in regards to payroll for Mr. Dockett.
Yeah, I'd like to, is it such that trustee Dockett was being paid with a check perhaps once a year? That was what he had been receiving for many years?
I think most of us were.
Okay. And I understand it was a change, but he would like to, of course, receive just a check, even if it's just one check, once a year. And I would like for us to find a way if we could make that possible.
I guess from the payroll standpoint, in January of 16, it was given to everybody that it's either direct deposit or a pay card. That was the policy that was put in place. Mr. Dockett has always been paid at the end of the year. He always did a yearly paycheck. And last year he got the pay card, and we got that all figured out and worked out. We, or Christina, the payroll assumed that he was wanting a yearly paycheck, pay again at the end of this year. So, and which would also be either a pay card or direct deposit. If we do a paycheck, it's going to cost around $22 every payroll that we choose to do that at.
That would be once a
Because-
year then?
Okay, right. And again, if we make an exception for Mr. Dockett, we might have to make an exception for someone else. So it's however the board wants to present it, but, I mean, it was in January of 16 that this was put into place, so it's now May of 2017, so.
So the question I'm going to ask Mr. Dockett is, what happened, why is it that you can no longer use the card? Why, what happened with the card
Oh,
that
Or get
now
direct
doesn't
deposit.
work?
Okay. I used to get the check when I was going to Florida for vacations.
Okay.
So I used it. So when I went this year to get the check, I was told that I had to either sign up for this card or I had to do a direct deposit. So I said, well, I guess I'm leery of, you hear about all this graft and all these problems, with the banks and so on and so on. So I said, well, I'll take the card. They said, okay, fill out this form. Well, the form was quite entailed, and then it went on to say that it didn't have my name on it, and I couldn't cash it. So I said to the township, well, I owe you guys $8,500. How about you just pay me the difference? No, we don't. I said, well, okay, I'll give you the card. Well, we don't take the card. So I took the card to their bank up on 36. The lady said, no, you cannot put it in your account. You have to put it in a machine. And every time you get, and it was for $1,700, well, I get 20, of the board passed that all trustees would get $2,500 a year. So.
With your taxes taken out.
Excuse me?
With your taxes taken out, it was around
Well, with the
$1,700.
taxes taken out, it was like $1,700 or something. So the bank told me up there that it's gonna cost me at least $25 to $50 to get my pay. And they said, if the township will put your name on the plastic, we will take it. But the township won't put the name. I wanna ask a question right now. Is there one person in this township that gets a plastic?
Does
the-
anybody get plastic?
The ordinance officer, what's his name? Michael, thank you. He got a pay card last time. Other than that, everybody gets direct deposit.
Well, the reason they do is because it's gonna cost you money to cash this. And I believe that's wrong. I don't think I should have to pay to get a paycheck. That's my opinion. And so I'll be glad to take, and what happened was, they never did give me the $1,700 and some dollars until I came back in February, I believe it was. The township supervisor picked me up at my store, took me up to their bank, and their bank gave me, I never signed anything, they gave me $1,700 and some dollars, whatever my paycheck was, in cash. And her deputy,
Shouldn't have to do that either.
her deputy told me that I could get a 1099 this year. This is what she told me now. I guess she made a mistake, but
Right.
this is what she told me. So then I said, well, I'll just take a 1099. I'll pay my own taxes. Well, then I got a letter from the township that says that I'm not a contract worker. I said, I never said I was a contract worker. I said I'm not an employee, is what I said. I didn't say anything about being so anyway, that's where we're at. If I want to take the plastic, it's going to cost me somewhere between $25 and $50 each time you use this. I've never used an ATM, but the woman at the bank told me that when you do, it's like $2.50. And you can't get all the money at once. You can only get $500 at a time. So that means I would have to get it 4 times. I would have to pay to get money out. I just don't think that's right. So that's where we're at.
Have you called the 800 number on the pay card to see because if you're looking at the fees here, I mean, I'm not sure how the pay card works either. It says check authorization pay to you, $2. So I don't know if that means that they can issue you a check. I mean, you have to call the pay card company to see exactly what that is. An ATM withdrawal is saying $1.75. You can use it like a debit card at no charge. So, I mean, there's different ways to use the card.
That's
So
not
why
true.
are we asking an employee of our township to try to figure out how he's supposed to be paid? I mean, that's, because I've asked to provide the information. I've asked to provide the information from the payroll company why he couldn't get paid. I am not getting that. So,
I just based everything off of the board decision from last year, or
Yeah.
what was given last year, saying that everybody was going to direct deposit or the pay card. So we were just following this plan that was put in place in January of 16.
And what did you do about the one that we voted on to get 2,500 a year? What happened to that one? If I'm not getting 2,500 a year, less taxes, I'm getting $25 to $50 less than the, I expect to pay taxes. But if I got a 1099, I can pay my own taxes. I got an accountant, you know.
Right.
So-
Yeah, we can't
so-
give you a 1099.
Well, how about a 99?
What's a 99?
Well, you have them. You have them here. I don't know about that. But
Okay.
there's other.
so that, what you were saying, you were going by what the board approved in 2016, January 2016. I don't think there was a motion on that.
I have no idea.
I
This is
think
just a
that it was
policy that's been in
implement-
place.
It was just implemented.
So,
So, in speaking to, so what we got from Christina was that if we had to make a change, she got information back from Stacy saying that there is no legal, one way or another, that she can make you take a direct deposit or take a pay card. It would have to be the board's vote on it. That's our policy.
I have a couple things for you, Mr. Dockett.
I
I have a couple things for you, Mr. Dockett.
What was that?
So I have a couple things for
Oh,
you.
oh, yeah.
Couple questions. So how do you get your Social Security?
I have a direct deposit.
And and you don't want the township to do the same that you do for your Social Security?
What's that?
You don't want the township to do the same that's done for your Social Security?
I heard you say the township Social
I
Security.
said you don't want the township to perform the same way that you get your Social Security.
Well, I think that that the biggest theft today is this kind of stuff with the.
Yeah.
You know, they steal all this stuff from these companies. I don't know this company who makes our paychecks. Do you? You know anything about them? No.
No,
Why
I
don't-
know it shows up into my bank account,
Why don't they?
so it's a good thing.
Well, then you have a direct deposit.
I do.
Why don't they put my name on the plastic? No problem, I'll accept that. Because the bank will accept it. Why should I accept script? Who does that
And-
today? Who accepts script? Not me. Not since I got out of the Army.
And if it's my understanding, you only want to be paid once a year.
Why? I don't care if they want to pay me more than that.
Because if we give you a paycheck, again, it's my understanding that it's going to be $21 and
like, yeah,
Cents.
about right around $22.
Okay. so
That's an expense to the township.
it's an expense to the township.
Well, if they want to give me a paycheck that I can cash at the bank, I'll pay the $20.
How often do you want to get paid? We need that clarified.
Well, I don't want to pay $20 every time. I'll get paid once a year.
I would accept that, because if any other employee wants to get a paycheck, they will also pay what it cost. And I think I would be okay with that.
I'm not asking for any favors. What I'm asking is to be fair. And I can't understand that they don't want to do what people want. But I know the one thing, I don't think that was ever voted on. If it was, I would like to see that.
There is an issue too, not with you personally, but when paychecks were getting issued, people would hold them back. They wouldn't cash them. They'd stash them. You know, they'd hide them. So that just throws off the books. You know,
Yeah,
it'd
well,
be,
yeah, 'cause
it'd
then
be
I
an
have to-
accounting nightmare for Lenore. So
I
that's,
have to do
that's
an
why it got
sheet
switched.
for-
Oh, I understand. I'm the only person, the only employee in Northfield Township that got a bounce check from the township
All right.
because they gave me the check and I didn't cash it for a couple of weeks.
See there. So you want a good check.
And so when I cashed it, I took it to the bank and there was no money in there. I said, no, this is from the township. We know it is, but there's no money.
That wasn't under Lenore's watch.
No, this was under Michelle,
I
man.
made sure there was a lot of money in there to make payroll.
Michelle gave me a bad check.
So I understand that, and I get this, that if we do this, we're doing it for one employee. But can I tell you, $22, we're really throwing pennies after dollars here. $22 is really nothing. And so if he's wanting to have that every quarter, I would say, yeah, we would have to talk about that. But when it's just one time a year, in the
And I
grand
would-
scheme of things,
And I would like
I
to,
don't see that, you know, charging an employee because that's the preference that they would like to get paid. I'll tell you, I even will question why the payroll company can't cut one check, because I know I've worked with other companies and they have done it.
They can cut one check. It's just that it costs to cut one check, and it's $22. We'll just
Yeah.
round it up. But even though we won't charge you $22.
Oh, I don't care. I'll
But,
pay.
so that's what it costs the company, to us, to cut it, because they don't do that anymore.
So I
So-
think we saved money in the process
Correct.
by going electronic.
That's right. Well,
So
And
going
I would
back,
like it in early November.
you'll have to talk to Christina
No,
nicely.
Christina told me, you said for me never to talk to her. So
Okay.
I am not going to talk
gee,
to
I feel like
Christina.
we're at a tea
because
party
I
or
don't-
something. I don't know.
I don't want her to have a reason.
Maybe a shower. I'm not sure.
I don't want her to have a reason to have a problem in the office.
So
Okay.
early
Well,
November.
so can I make a motion to,
Yes.
that we, at the township, pay Wayne Dockett, his yearly salary one time a year, I guess the end of November would be preferred?
No.
I wouldn't
Beginning
even
of
put a
November.
date on it.
Okay,
I
no
would just-
date. I'd like to make a motion that the township permit or provide trustee Dockett with a paycheck for his annual salary, one time a year.
Yeah, early November's fine. I'm in Florida on Thanksgiving.
I don't know, can we actually do that? I mean, can we just leave it as Ms. Bellinger had done? Because I don't know, can we legally cut you your paycheck without,
Ahead of time?
ahead of time without the time
I think we
elapsing?
can pay you up to that point.
We can pay you up to that.
Then we don't want to do that. Then it's
We can
another,
pay you
then it's
Whatever's-
another $22.
Whatever's
Three-quarters.
I
convenient.
would say that it has to be within the budget period.
Whatever's convenient for the township before Thanksgiving.
Okay, amended to be at regular payroll time period.
So are we, the township's eating that cost?
I will pay the $22.
I'd like that added to the motion then. I'd like to make a friendly amendment and add that Mr. Dockett said he would pay the $22. And the only reason I think that,
Well, we need to vote on the motion, whether or not we add it to the main motion.
don't we have to vote on the amendment first, or?
That's exactly correct. So
Yep.
we vote on the amendment if we want to add
Yeah,
it.
so
or
I would
not.
say that Mr. Dockett has offered to pay the $22,
Yeah,
that
because
we
some-
accept that.
Because somebody else might want to do it too.
That's correct, and that's the only reason I think it should be added.
I'll
Just in.
support the,
The second, the amendment.
no, I'll support Ton's
Okay.
motion.
Then we
So
have
let's-
the amendment now to the main motion, adding that Mr. Dockett would pay the fee for the check. Now we need to vote on that amendment
Correct.
to decide if that's going to be attached to the main amendment.
Correct.
Mhm.
I think, Wayne, did you support the did you support the
I supported
Zelenak?
the main amendment.
Right,
to
we need
the-
support for
I
the
didn't-
amendment,
And
though.
is there support to the amendment? Do you support in that?
I don't know, what is it? Can she read it to us, or? Well,
Yeah, the amendment.
The amendment is that Mr. Dockett pay the $20 fee charged by the payroll company.
Or
The amendment
whatever.
is that you would pay the $20 fee.
Can we change it to whatever fee is assessed? Because that could
Okay, yeah.
change.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, it
Up to, do you want to say, and then you'll reconsider?
Because if it ends up to be his whole paycheck, that the whole point is mute.
But we can't say what it's going to be in November.
Right, yeah. So do you support that?
You supporting it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So now we have the motion of paying Wayne Dockett with a paycheck and him willing to pay the fee for cutting the paycheck.
Yeah, so let's vote on the first one, which is.
We have to first vote on the amendment being added to it, don't we?
But on the amendment first.
Okay, so the amendment is for the fee to be paid by Mr. Dockett. Lenore made the motion, Mr. Dockett seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I don't know if I should vote.
You can abstain.
I'll abstain.
Could he second it then?
So why don't we do a roll call vote? This way we can hear it better.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Dockett,
Abstain.
Zelenak,
Yes.
Otto,
No?
Manley, no.
So the amendment is dropped, then the amendment to the motion is dropped, which leaves us with just the main motion of permitting Mr. Dockett to be paid with a paycheck.
Yeah. So the main motion was that Mr. Dockett would be paid for
One time a year.
One time a year, a paycheck. Ton made the motion, Otto second. Any more discussion on that one? All those in favor say aye, or we can have a roll call vote
Roll
on
call
that
vote,
one.
please.
Manley, no. Otto,
Yes.
Zelenak,
No.
Dockett,
Abstain.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Doesn't go anywhere.
Well, we tried. I go back to my protest.
Oh, I just wanted you to get a paycheck.
bring it back again when everybody's here.
I know.
Okay. We have discussion items, and this has to do with independent contractor. So I brought this to the board. This was basically, the attachment that was provided in here was basically part of it to talk about what an independent contractor is, and the second part was to address Mr. Dockett. But what I wanted to do was to do two things on this, is to talk to the board about, number one, establishing a policy for independent contractor, because when we did our personnel committee, that was the one thing that was missing on the personnel committee, was it was a very small, defined, a couple of lines, couple of sentences in it, and we need to have it in more detail. And the reason why I say that is because the Internal Revenue has changed their definition. On the 1099, the state of Michigan has also been in line with that. And even though we are a township, we still have to protect the township from things about independent contractors. And one of the things that they're looking at is that every independent contractor that we hire has to have a contract and has to pass a, what they call a test of being an independent contractor. So that's what I wanted to talk about, is to say, I think in in Stacy's letter, she addressed it very well as what is considered an independent contractor. And I think we could take some of this out and include it as part of our policy. So I just wanted to see if the board would like the Personnel Committee to draft something. And then also, we should draft could we draft like a template?
We have a sort of a form independent contractor agreement that we've used a couple times for assessing services. We've used it for the code enforcement officer.
Okay.
So it's possible that it could use some additional language from Labor Council, but we have kind of a form already so that process has
Okay.
already started.
Yeah.
That was my understanding that when we hire an independent contractor, we have a contract that they sign.
Yeah,
At least
but
I know for the two that I've been around. Well, actually, I wasn't around for assessing, so for Mike. And I think we did the same for, trying to get Tim Seville. I think
Yeah.
we have a contract as
Correct.
well.
But I think we have two current people that we do pay for services that doesn't have an independent contractor position.
One might be photographing us.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we need to go through
Sure.
basically and see who we do have as independent contractors, and again, review, make sure that everybody does have one,
Okay.
just.
I think it's just for the protection. You
Right.
don't know if we ever got called by the Labor Department, and they went through and looked to see what we had, we could, this is just for protection of the township.
I don't know, maybe the
Agreed.
second one is also recording us, but in written word.
Did you get that, Lisa?
Just trying to go through and
Yeah.
think.
Okay, so we'll have the Personnel Committee pull something together for the next agenda, and we'll put it on the agenda draft. The third one is compensation for township manager duties, and that was Tawn.
Yeah, we had, months ago, when we decided that we would have a couple people that were in the office take up some of the slack for the manager duties. We had also said at that meeting that they would come back with us, let us know what they were doing, so we could hold them accountable for, so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so's doing that, and we would assign some compensation for this additional workload. So this has not been done. These duties apparently have been getting somewhat, much of them have been being accomplished, but nobody's been receiving additional compensation. So I think we need to decide on a number amount and figure out how we're going to compensate. And we have lots of questions regarding that, such as, is it going to be retroactive? If so, to what time? Is there going to be like a duration, perhaps not to exceed 30 days past the hiring of a manager? And of course, the value. We have no money numbers figured out here. So I think we should talk about this and see if we can get some answers.
So if I recall from the initial board meeting where we had this discussion, we did ask for Jennifer and Marlene to get together and decide what duties they were going to do and to provide that to the township board, and we have not seen that. I do recall, and this had to go back when Shelley Manning was on the board, that she came to the board and asked to be paid retroactive on something as well, and at that time, we could not pay her retroactive. If the decision is to compensate for somebody, it has to be on a go-forward basis, and until, so the question still remains, what are we paying them for? What are the responsibilities are we paying them for? And what is the time that they're putting into it?
Do you know why it couldn't go retroactive, or?
Oh,
I have a recollection of this as well. I would want to look at the law to refresh my memory on it, but
I think I think we found it under MTA.
yeah, I think so too. sadly, the only recollection that I do have is that that was what the issue was that if the work's already been performed, then you can't later on decide what that work was worth and then compensate for it. That you can ahead of time decide what somebody's going to be paid for work and then pay them. But, and I think the issue is that it was related to essentially boards giving themselves bonuses after the fact.
Yeah, this would be a pay, not a bonus.
I know, but I think that's
But
kind of
it's
where
the
the
same
whole thing had come from, was
Okay.
determining after the fact payment for work that had already been done.
I think that was only on elected people.
And I can't recall.
Yeah, it's on elected people, and that's what Marlene is
Yeah, I
asking
know,
for,
but
is to be
But I think
compensated.
that was part of it. If you're elected, you,
She's not asking, we're suggesting.
I think you may be right, Mr. Dockett. That's why I say I'd like to check it. I think you may be right.
Well, here's my thoughts on this. I mean, we're almost at the end of, getting to a point where we have a township manager. I think personally the office is working very well right now. And I'd like to know what the assistant to the manager is doing above what she would be doing anyway, be it township manager or supervisor, in assisting. What duties have changed. But overall, I think the office is running very good, and we're almost at the end. I think we just make it to the end. As is. Everybody seems to be okay. Because if the township assistant to the township manager is doing any extra duties, is it possible there are some duties that aren't being done because she's doing these extra duties and other people in the office are picking it up? But again, right now the office is, I think, doing well. And I think I would hope within a month, we're in a different place, and we're moving on past this. I just think that's just my personal opinion. But if there is going to be any compensation, I would like to see a list of the added duties
On both sides.
on both sides.
So in a nutshell, we're still waiting for the list.
In a nutshell, we're still waiting for the list.
Okay,
I,
just wanted to bring that up.
Mr. Dockett?
I think if I had my way tonight, right now, I would vote an extra $500 a week to be split between the two people starting today. Hopefully that will help catch up with other stuff, but I don't see any sense in us not paying people for working. And the money's in the budget for $100,000 a year, so the money's there. I believe we should vote on it tonight and start paying these people for what they did. That's only my opinion.
We could make a motion.
I have spoken with Jennifer. I mean, I did do some homework, and I personally don't feel like she's doing much more above and beyond what she was doing with Howard. And it's kind of what she's told me too. I mean, yes, she's picking up extra duties, but kind of like Lenore said, then somebody's picking up her extra duties. And she hasn't, I mean, I love Jennifer, no Jennifer bashing, she's awesome, but there hasn't really been a lot of extra hours put in either. I mean, she hasn't worked over her 64 hours but once, and she's averaged about 62 hours this year. So if you look at that, it's kind of hard to compensate for not working any extra time, if that makes any sense. And I kind of agree with Lenore. It's like, we're almost there. We're at that point. How much do we want to rehash this? So, just my thoughts.
I mean, again, if Ms. Carlisle is working any over her 32 hours, she is paid for that.
Yes. Yes.
And I'd just like to see what she has done beyond her current duties, because there are quite a few duties here.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have everybody in the office, I think, does very, very well. And it's always a joy to go in and to work with them. And so I just think everybody works very, very hard.
Right.
And we just, again, if Jennifer's picked up some duties, are there some duties she's not doing that other people in the office are doing? Like answering the phone a little bit more maybe, or receiving people at the counter. So there could be a give and take there. And
Yeah, I think everybody's picked up some extra slack, so. And even more so with Tabitha being gone. or
Well, it
when
will
she
be.
gone.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, so certainly with Tabitha, depending on when we hire someone, that will certainly be a strain on the office help until someone's in and trained and up to speed.
And so I would say the same thing for Marlene. I would like to see a list of the extra things that she has done in regards to if she does want to be compensated for anything, is what are the things that she's doing. And if we can't go retroactive, we can go forward for a while to get caught up. But I would still say I'd like to see the list of things that she's done that are outside of her statutory duty.
Yeah, and I think we have our manager reports too, so I guess,
No,
do
that's
we
not,
as a board
I'm
wanna
looking for
pursue this?
hours, I'm looking for,
So if Marlene wants to pursue it, then
Yes.
you want that from her.
yes.
And again, this was brought up by Tawn, not by Marlene, so Marlene didn't request a compensation. We discussed it like
That's correct.
months ago, so.
Well, she certainly wrote this. Did you read it?
Right.
Well, she indicated in her email that she wanted it, so,
That's what I'm talking about.
I will just,
I say
we'll
we
leave it
just
at that.
leave as is and,
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So the last thing on our list is the heating and cooling mechanics for the public safety building. I know that this is probably not the best time to bring it up because Bill's not here, but I think there needs to be something outlined as far as we need to have some research done. We need to probably start looking at a capital plan, understanding what the issues are.
I'm wondering if there's any chance we could just maybe somebody could take an effort to try to understand what we have here, and if there's any way to revamp or salvage what we have and have it be functional and not wasting a lot of money. I mean, I could maybe look into that if you wanted, see if I can learn what I can learn about it. Or maybe Chief has already got that information. I don't know.
I was gonna say Chief might have a better idea.
Because I know that we've had evaluations before. I know when they had Jack Webb or Webb Mechanicals here, they did do an evaluation and give it to them at that time. And to be honest with you, I don't recall what it said, but I do know that it's going to be very costly because it wasn't done correctly. So,
That is true. I think going back to 2002, I think the engineers recommended a different configuration, and at the time it wasn't done. And also at that time, they said if they didn't do the configuration as determined by the engineer, there would be no warranty. So it goes back a very long time, and I know we've had, I think, many, many different types of, or different issues as well as different firms coming in trying to address it. And it just, I think, as you say, to do it might have to be replacement and expensive. But we need to at least look at it and evaluate it. Is it better to replace it, or is it better to wear jackets and sweaters? I mean, there is that cost too.
Yeah. So do we ask, do you think that we should ask Bill to provide any information to the next board meeting?
Well,
Like
I
an
would like-
evaluation?
Sure.
I would like to make a statement.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Duncan.
Okay. What happened was we had a vote. We all went to the polls. We voted $3.8 million to build this building. And then the board had a 4 o'clock meeting one night, and they borrowed another $3 million. Then the board had another meeting and borrowed $500,000. They were just trying to get this place, under roof, and they just was blowing us money. So there was 3.5 million that they spent that we didn't vote on. So it was not done correctly, and we all know it wasn't done correctly. And we maybe a year and a half ago, we went through, and I might be wrong on the figure, but it was $40,000 or $50,000 to go with the LED lighting. So we did that. I don't think we should not continue to. It's not just wearing a jacket. Think of all this electricity that's being used. I mean, if you see our utility bills, they're tens of thousands of dollars. Not only for this building, but for the township, tens of thousands of dollars every month. That costs money too. We really need to have a capital improvement and do whatever's necessary, in my opinion. Thank you. It's not going to get any better.
Okay.
I think it would be good, since Bill attends that meeting anyway, to have him
Right.
on the agenda.
Okay.
And also, my real thought was we need to do a cost benefit, just to make sure, the cost will get the benefit.
Bill has done nothing so far.
No, I think he's just worked with the contractors.
The board has to make the decision.
Sure, he can make a recommendation.
I know, too, that we had, I think it was last year, we had issues with the outside of the building because the cottonwoods got into the air conditioning unit and clogged up everything, and they had to do a whole reconfigure on the outside. That cost.
And cut down the cottonwood trees.
And cut down the cotton, yeah, on top of that. So I do know that we've done a lot of repair work on this, and I do know that that Bill does probably have a lot of that background work and a lot of that history. Okay, we'll add it to the agenda. Last thing we have is the second call to the public. Do we have anyone from the audience that would like to make their comments known? Please list your name and address.
Mary Devlin, 9211 Brookside Drive. Regarding a direct deposit, I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eleanor, okay, because you're up on all this stuff. When you have a check deposited directly in your account at the bank, okay, at that period of time, you can also get they will issue you a debit card or a credit card. Or you can also go into the bank and get a withdrawal slip and write that amount for whatever money you need to get out of your account. Is that not correct?
Yes?
Seems like a simple solution to me. Thank you.
Not if your name is not on it, folks. Do you put names on the plastic cards? Okay. There's no name on the card. You cannot spend the card anywhere except in a machine. I can't hear you. What?
We can hold that for board member comments. Anyone else in the public like to make comments?
Andy Lakatos from 9249 Lakewood Drive. dealing with the building and the heating and air conditioning, has it ever been thought of that you'd get the citizens involved and have a citizens board meeting with the pros, and so that you have the citizens have a better understanding, and get some citizens who know what's going on as far as the building, and it could be contractors aside from the heating and cooling contractors.
Good suggestion. Okay, anyone else? Okay, we have board member comments. I'll start with Tuan.
Yeah, I'd like to, actually, can I add something for next agenda?
Yes.
Can I bring up this one more time and see if, bring it up again for Wayne Dockett to perhaps get a check that he wishes to pay the fees for the writing of a check? I'd like to have that added to the next agenda. Maybe that will happen in his favor. The second thing is I want to say that Washtenaw County is the second highest taxed county in the state of Michigan. And recently our county commissioners allocated the appropriated funds from the general fund to assist illegal undocumented immigrants with various programs, as well as to resist federal immigration law. So I want you to keep that in mind when they ask for a millage. Another thing is I'm going to steal Wayne's thunder and say, please shop local. One other thing, July. They're going to have an ice cream social July 8th at 75 Barker. It's a Saturday from 2 to 4. Yeah, July 8th, ice cream social at Barker, 75 Barker, from 2 to 4. And thank you very much.
Tuan, is this
That
this
is a Saturday, I was
Okay.
told. Yes, July 8th.
And who is putting that on?
I think the DDA possibly. I got the information from Barb today when I was asking her about the asphalt contract and such.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Mr. Dockett?
I'd like to thank a couple of the board members for their vote tonight. And I would like to say that we should use our local services and shop at our local businesses. Thank you.
Lenore?
Yes, I'd like to say on June 10th, same time we're having our, what do we call it, Recycle Day at the township. The Kiwanis will be celebrating their 70th anniversary. So come down to the store on Main Street and we'll be having cake and hot dogs. So after you take all your stuff to Barker or here, feel free to have some refreshments with us and celebrate. I think it's actually fabulous that Kiwanis has been in our community for 70 years. That's a very long time. I don't know where we rank in the Kiwanis groups, but we're right up there. So that's great. I think any capital improvement, we do need a capital improvement plan, and we need to really inform the citizens to get their input on priorities and how they really want the taxes, and maybe they have some good input too. We really need to do that. Mr. Dockett, we are so close to getting that pay resolved, and you were willing to give the 22, so we just, pretty close, very close vote.
I thought you voted against it.
I will vote for it as long as it's accepted that you pay the 22, so we were very close. So close, we had a split decision.
Well, if you voted for it and she voted for it and she voted for it, why didn't it pass?
Oh, we have to read the minutes, but my recollection is there was
Two people did not vote
for the $22, and then two people didn't vote for or the paying. So I think if we can get it all together, we'd be good to go, and you'll be good to go.
The problem was you didn't vote.
Well, I didn't want to vote for myself.
Well, if you vote for the 22 and you vote for the check, you're all good.
Yeah.
You
That's
would
all.
have. That's all.
I lost my thought at that. Just everyone have a happy Memorial Day weekend. Be safe out there. I think that is it. So.
Okay. And I really don't have too much more to say other than thank you, Andy, for the campaign that you're putting on. I think that's fabulous. I think the township and the community, I'm hoping that they'll get on board on this. And then I also want people to recognize that we have people north of the township that need your business, and people south of the township that need your business that are impacted by the construction. So please make sure to use them. And I also just want to wish everyone a happy Memorial Weekend and be safe.
If I may, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'd like to apologize for my tardiness today. I have car issues, and I still have car issues, so fortunately I was close, and my dear husband came and picked me up.
I would like to add something too. Thank you,
Thank you.
Jackie, for monitoring the meeting.
You know, I'm thinking of Robert's rules and all. I wondered if it was possible to reconsider in that vote regarding the paycheck for Mr. Dockett. Since we haven't adjourned the meeting yet, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, because I didn't think to call reconsider during the vote.
Well, we haven't adjourned the meeting. Could we?
It's actually not necessary to reconsider it because the motion failed. The only time you ever properly reconsider a motion is if the motion passes. If it fails, you can just bring it again.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Trustee Otto, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
My other thought, sorry. I guess if the board, if you're not going to be here and you know, if we can just share that with everybody, that would be wonderful, just so we can kind of plan ahead. So, you're okay, Lenore? Like, yeah, like we didn't know.
Call me
Yeah.
on this afternoon.
So,
And use that as that's my own.
that's okay. So, just if we can share it with everybody if you know you're not going to be here. I mean, last minute things happen, we know that. I mean, so.
Okay, Brad.
Sorry.
I never have a great time to give these, so I try to give them sort of now. I just wanted to give a quick update on the Wagar appeal of the special assessment district. That is going to start trial just after Memorial Day weekend. So I'm going to have a thrilling Memorial Day weekend reading appraisals, and but that's proceeding forward next week. So just wanted to let everybody on the board know.
Okay.
That's where we are. That's all I have for you.
All right, thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Okay. If we don't have any more, I am going to make the motion to adjourn.
I support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.